Other research found that as the mercury reaches 90 degrees Fahrenheit, productivity slumps by about 25%. And when it goes past 100 degrees, productivity drops off by 70%. That's, I think, a crazy stat because we talked last episode, or at least an episode before that, about
It's because the managers were like, it's too hot. I'm not going out there to yell at them.
that's part of it.
They don't want to come out of their office. They have the only
The air
fan in the
conditioning because
building.
they've got the air conditioning and they
They've
don't
got
want to.
the only fan in the building.
I was saying that if we go back to a previous segment that we did, we talked about how the heat in Phoenix gets to about 110. And, I mean, you could only imagine what's the productivity at that point for a city and workers if the heat is around 110 degrees. I mean, I know that Phoenix has resorted to doing majority of its construction work at night, and a lot of a lot of industry.
Oh, that's a great home life.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. You sit at home during the day in your air conditioning, I suppose, while your kids are off at school in their air conditioning, and then when they get home, you go to work because now it's finally now it's cool enough that you can now do your job. So it must be great. It must be absolutely fantastic. It must be what a great home life. All that being said, there are still, and this is not going to be a surprise to anyone who knows this great nation, there are still no national regulations to protect workers from extreme heat. In 2021, the Biden administration announced that the Occupational Safety and Health Administration would propose the first rule designed to protect workers from heat exposure. But 2 years later, the agency still has not released a draft. A draft, people. They haven't released a draft of the proposed regulation.
That is really sad. It's funny because I remember one of my first jobs, the power went out during the summer and we had to wear a suit and it was hot.
Yeah.
And we were all like threatening, like, we're talking amongst ourselves. This is ridiculous. We're going to walk out. Like, he should be sending us home. How could he expect us to work under these conditions? And it was probably like 85 degrees or something in the office, not 110, not outside, not doing manual labor.
Right.
And it was appalling. And we looked it up and we're like, wow, there's no thing for us. Like, we had nothing. We had nothing to go on.
No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to save you.
There is no leverage. There is no threat to make. We are stuck here. And glad to see that it hasn't changed and glad to see it could be so much worse and nothing can be done. That is horrific. And I'm still racking my brain over that 70% number. Would you say over 110, productivity drops by 70%?
That's correct. Yeah. According to most studies. Yeah.
I mean, at that point, are you just burning money on utilities?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You might as well just send everyone home. Yeah. There's no point. You're getting 30% productivity at that point. I mean, you're probably spending more in terms of trying to keep the lights on or trying to fight the heat with air conditioning. You might as well just send everyone home. Absolutely.
Are we that greedy?
Yes. The answer is yes.
Wow.
Yes. In fact, the main thing, your manager in that situation, the biggest mistake they made was that they allowed you guys to sit too closely so that you could chat amongst each other. That's how they.
The hotter it gets, the more they space us out.
You got to keep a minimum distance of your workers, and then you got to walk the aisles. You got to walk the aisles to make sure that there is no, there's no chitter chatter, there's no jibber jabber between them. Because if people get together and they start realizing they have more in common than they do apart, that's how unions get started, and we don't want that in this country. We really do not want that. We don't want unionizing. We don't want workers to feel empowered. That's bad for the economy. It's bad for the workers because they don't know any better. And they don't realize it. They don't realize that getting air conditioning and having dignity and feeling valued is really bad for your self-esteem. Ultimately, you want to feel powerless and you want to feel like your employer is sucking the life out of you. That's the only way you're going to feel.
You feel alive.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's the only way
to
you're
live
feel alive.
Is to suffer, or is it to suffer is to live? I don't know if that's a thing.
How puritanical. So yeah, it's so through suffering you will find your salvation. Right? That should be. In fact, Bezos, I'm sure he probably that's what gets.
It's written on every steering wheel of an Amazon delivery truck.
I believe it. When your in fact, the pee bottle they hand out to you, that's inscribed on the side. That's exactly
great.
right. You're right.
That's great.
That's right.